Do men feel that have no one to talk to when they have problems? I know I have people in my life I can talk to. I just feel like I shouldn't. Not because I don't think they'd want to listen and help. Just because we're conditioned to keep our feelings hidden. That showing them is a sign of weakness. I heard some accounts of women who had transitioned into men, and their impression was they were instantly ignored. If they had problems they needed to man up, no one cared. Tell her, as a man, I get talked over, given a simple that sucks empty platitudes, or listened to briefly before it's forgotten what I had said. I have people to talk to, but it's clear nobody listens to me. As my toxic ex used to tell me, we have nothing to worry about as long as you're still standing, Pete. You're not allowed to fall, we depend on you too much. By we she meant herself and our close circle of friends at the time, her friends mostly. Thankful my wife and I are able to have good conversations without putting ourselves first. That's really what it takes. Just listening to somebody and putting them first over yourself. That's all some people need. But most my guy friends say the same thing. Most are married or dating but have no one to talk to. They say every time they try to talk to their wives they get about 5 minutes of themselves in, and then it's their wives relating it all to their own feelings for the next half hour. Hijacking the conversation and talking about themselves. There's this weird societal tug of war going on where men's mental health is recognized as a problem. But it's not actually treated like a problem. But these things always take time. You look at almost any recognition of a gender or group's mental health and there's usually a couple decades between that recognition and proper awareness and treatment. It doesn't happen overnight. Like they recognized mental issues women were prone to, but they were still sticking them in asylums, shaving their heads and torturing them for a few decades before stopping. Knowledge and awareness doesn't instantly breed adequate treatment. This is a common issue. About 8 of men say they have no close friends at all. Nope, it's most men. I was discussing this with my GF not so long ago. We are taught to be strong and not show any weaknesses. We don't even show it to our friends or family until it's too late, because if we do it often results in ridicule. Take it this way, if our partners earn more than us we are seen as lazy or underperforming, even though they might have worked hard to get to where they are. If we are sick it's man flu. If we get custody of a child then it's not that we are the better option. It's because the mother is the weaker one. What doesn't help is this is ingrained into us by society, so when we aren't at our best we are made to feel like we are worthless. I absolutely have no one to talk to. I definitely can't talk to my wife, she somehow makes everything about her. I can't talk to my parents. They either try to fix things and make it worse, or find a way to make it about them. What did we do to you growing up that you would feel this way? My friends are busy trying to survive day to day as well and don't need my problems on top of that. I can talk to my mom, but aside from that I'm just being a burden. That's kind of the whole reason men don't have anyone to talk to. The response is always, it's just you. Before we open our mouth we know whoever hears it wants us to be the person of agency. There is almost nothing we can ever say that will get anyone to give a response that suggests that we deserved better, even if we aren't acting like we expect any change. We are alone. It's not your imagination. I hate confrontation, so I keep my mouth shut and deal with it myself, or until I don't care about it anymore. I joined a men's group at my church. We all open up to each other about our struggles. It was weird at first, but has been truly amazing. I can relate. My wife says I can confide in her, but she never listens to a word I say in general. So how could I expect her to listen to my problems, especially when her response is, "Did you push a human the size of a watermelon out of your body?" Everyone else I know is either worse off than me or are not people I can confide in. Very relatable, man. If I try to tell my wife anything she gets upset, mad, frustrated, or just shuts down even if the subject isn't about her or us at all. I gave up years ago and my friends have their own issues. I listen to her all the time, all the little things, validate her feelings, listen to her about her friends' issues, problems with other people and so on. She feels better much of the time and I'm glad I can do that for her, but just wish she would do that for me willingly without me having to tell her in advance then be accused of trauma dumping on her. I took to journaling my thoughts. It helps, but not as much talking to an empathetic human being would be. It sucks being a guy, really does. The leading cause of death for men under 50 is suicide. They divided us so they can sell you better help, expensive shrinks, prescription drugs. This is by design. Yes, sometimes I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to and it's frustrating at times. Most things I can talk with my wife, but there's a few man things that I can't, as well as if I need to talk to someone about issues I'm having with my wife. I know it's kind of cliche, but it's the usual thing. Guys never talk about their feelings and my guy's friend circle is exactly like that. It's always joking around and stuff, but never anything serious or heartfelt. Potentially when we get drunk together, but that's pretty rare now. I don't think it's to do with being brought up to be tough. My parents were never like that. I really think it's hardwired into us, because I feel like it comes from our peer groups. When we were younger, we get mocked by friends for showing any kind of vulnerability. Like, crying would be the worst thing a guy could do in front of his friends. I am not aware of my parents ever telling me it's not like a boy to cry, but somehow this was an unsaid rule among all boys, especially in teenage years. Yes, it's not always that there's nobody you can talk to either. It's because the people you do trust that you could talk to are usually the ones who depend on you to be the support system. And it's hard to turn that around the other way. I was explaining to my wife that I feel like I really don't have anyone to turn to or talk to when I have a problem. For various reasons, I have nobody to talk to when the problem is my wife. Actually, there was a study that showed men do not have people to turn to when they need to talk. Men are not traditionally raised to share emotions, and it's looked down upon in many communities. I've heard of churches having men's groups do this reason.